Hi class, my name is Dr. Jason Coker. I'll be your professor for Introduction to the New Testament. It is an honor and privilege to be your professor on this online course for the Interdenominational Theological Center. Throughout this whole semester, we'll be looking at the New Testament. I'll be introducing you to a book that you probably already know. If you were in an MDiv program or any kind of program, really, you're in a seminary and you should already have an idea of what the New Testament is. So how do I actually introduce you to a book that you already know? Well, a lot of us haven't really read the book, read the New Testament or the books of the New Testament academically, and some people might be skeptical of how an academic reading can actually inform a minister to do their job, or those who are going into nonprofit where religion still makes a difference. Well, a lot of that skepticism might be true and founded on right things, but I'm not interested in introducing you to something you already know as much as introducing you to a book you may not know you already have, or the books that make up the New Testament. There's 27 books in the New Testament. We'll be going through most of them throughout this semester. Any kind of questions that you have as we go through the semester, feel free to email me at the ITC email that I have. In this brief introduction, all I want to do is to introduce you to the syllabus and to our books that we'll need for this semester. The first book is this one right here. This is Bart Ehrman's New Testament Introduction. You'll need to purchase a copy of this. The bookstore has it. The syllabus also has it listed so that you can purchase that. The other one is a HarperCollins Study Bible, which uses the NRSV translation, or the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. That's what most seminaries use when they're doing Bible classes, and I really would prefer you to use those translations. The study notes in it are excellent, and some of the best scholars in America and around the world really write those notes, and it'll be really helpful for you as you prepare for your essay and as you work through the passages. We'll be reading through a lot of the Bible, and actually it's our primary text. So each week, not the first week, but each week you'll be reading through the entire section. So next week I think we're going to be reading Galatians and the letter of James. Those are fairly short books anyway. James is 5 chapters. Galatians is 6 chapters. That's not much of a problem. You should be able to read that without problems. But there will be those weeks where we're reading through the Gospel of Mark. One week we'll read the Gospel of Matthew, Luke, John, and the Revelation. All those are different weeks, so don't get too worried about it. But those two, the biblical text in Ehrman's New Testament Introduction, will be supplemented by a book I wrote a couple of years ago by the name of James in Postcolonial Perspective, the Letter as Nativist Discourse. We'll be reading through that first couple of weeks in class because there's a lot of material in there that's important to early Christianity, specifically the relationship between James and Paul. Beyond those, I'll have sections of books or chapters of books already on our Moodle site. Even my book will be on the Moodle site. The difference is my book's going to be at the very top right beside our syllabus, so you can click on it and you'll have full access to the entire book. The other chapters are going to be during the weeks we read them. I'll have those chapters listed under those weeks, so all you have to do is click on them. All of them are PDF files, so you should all be able to open them up. So those are the readings that we'll have, the biblical text, and then the secondary readings from Ehrman and all the other scholars. So pay real close attention to that. The other part is the syllabus, and you'll have an electronic copy of this syllabus on our e-learning site or our Moodle site, so you'll be able to see the mission of ITC, which I hope you should have close to memorized by now, the course objectives, the grading parameters, the evaluation requirements, and there'll be four, four major sections of how you're going to be graded for this class. One is participation. 5% of your overall grade will come for how you participate in our online course. And that means doing the readings. There are going to be weekly quizzes, participating in those, the midterm, the final, and a paper that you'll have to write. It's fairly short. We'll get into that a little bit. But your overall participation will count for 5 points in the overall, and 5 is there. There we go. 5 points in your overall grade. You will have weekly exams. Now, the exams will only be during the weeks that you don't have a paper due or a midterm or final. So there are going to be 12 weeks this semester where you will have weekly exams, and those weekly exams are only going to count for 2 points apiece, or 2% per exam. But you're going to have 12 of them, and I'm going to take your highest score out of the 10 of those 12. In other words, the cumulative power of the weekly exams will be 20 points, or 20% of your overall grade. So you really need to pay attention to those weekly exams. They're going to be fairly short, so and it's all going to come from the reading that you've done that week, and the video lectures like this that you will watch. So between the video lectures and the readings for the week, that'll prepare you for the weekly exams. But you really need to do both of those. And the exam, at the end of the week, the exam shuts down and you won't have access to it again. So you'll have to do the exam by Friday evening, I think. You'll have all week to work on that. So weekly exams are important. And then you have a very important essay on salvation in the New Testament as it relates specifically to your particular denomination or ecclesial tradition. That paper, the parameters for that paper are in the syllabus. It's worth 35% of your overall grade. That is the most of any of our assignments that you'll have. So 35% of your grade, 35 points to your final grade, comes from that paper. That paper is roughly 5 to 6 pages, and I don't give you the page requirement. I actually give you a word requirement. You have to write so many words. That way you can't fudge on large font or small margins and all that. It's going to be a word count, and that word count is 1,200 to 1,500 words, which is about 5 to 6 pages. So read that in the syllabus, get an idea about what that paper is about. If you have any questions, you can certainly contact me. And then you're going to have a midterm exam and a final exam. The midterm and the final, just like the weekly quizzes, will be directly from the readings and from the lectures. You complete those and submit them online, and I'll receive them. And each one of those will be 20%. So the midterm is 20% or 20 points. Your final is 20 points or 20%. So that's how I'm going to grade you. You'll have a midterm, you'll have a final, you'll have a paper, you'll have weekly exams, and you'll have your participation counts. So pay real close attention to those. Again, it's spelled out in the syllabus. Please, you can even print out your syllabus if you need to. Some people need to have paper in hand. If you don't, that's fine. Just download it to your computer. Make constant reference to it, because that's where you're going to find all this information in detail. If you have any questions, you can certainly contact me. And then finally, after some, what an A requires, and what score equals an A minus, B plus, etc. At the very end, you're going to see in the syllabus the weekly schedule. Mine's already kind of marked up, so that's professor stuff. But look at the weekly schedule. The first week, this week, we're going to talk about the canonization of the New Testament. And then the rest of the semester is going to be set up for the epistles. We're going to look at the earliest writings in the New Testament, which were letters, really. And we're going to really focus in on those epistles, specifically of Paul and the letter of James, and then some of the later epistles. We'll shift in the second half of this semester to the Gospels. Pay close attention to the Gospels, Acts, and then the Revelation will be, or apocalyptic literature will be the last 2 weeks the course. So that's kind of a brief, quick introduction to this course. I'm really excited to be your professor. I'm going to have some presentations, like a slideshow presentation, that I'll put into a video format so that you can watch those videos. And there'll be other videos like these where you can watch these video lectures and respond to them on the weekly quizzes. I'll also post some forums so that you can add something to the conversation. I might have some discussion questions that you can answer, and then you can dialogue with each other in a forum format on our Moodle site. If you have any problems, please don't hesitate to give me send me an email, and I'll respond to you as quick as possible. I'm really excited about this semester. I hope you are too, and I look forward to walking in this journey together.